Have you ever felt like something is blocking your manifestation? Like no matter how much you visualize, affirm, or align your mindset, things still don't seem to shift? Here's the truth. No one really tells you you're not blocked. You're just manifesting from lack. And that subtle distinction makes all the difference. The moment you declare, "I want something," you're often not sending a message of creation. You're sending a signal of absence. Not because your desire is wrong, not because the universe is withholding, but because, vibrationally, wanting and having emit completely different frequencies. When you're stuck in the energy of wanting, you're unintentionally affirming to the quantum field, "This is not mine. I don't have it." And the field, which mirrors your dominant frequency with perfect coherence, responds accordingly by continuing to reflect more of not having. This is where most people feel blocked. They believe they're doing everything right, visualizing their dream life, writing down goals, repeating affirmations. But underneath it all, if the dominant emotion is frustration, need, or waiting, that's what the field responds to, not the words or intentions, but the emotional charge behind them. The feeling of being blocked is simply the experience of the field, mirroring a fragmented, incoherent signal. You might be asking for abundance, but vibrating scarcity. You might be affirming love, but feeling lonely. And so the field, which doesn't respond to what you say, but what you are, keeps returning that experience back to you. But here's the shift. You're not broken, and you don't need to force harder. You just need to tune differently. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you already are. The key is not to fix the block, it's to transform the signal. That starts with recognizing that manifestation is not about getting, it's about broadcasting. When you shift from "how do I get this" to "how do I become the version of me who already has this," you're no longer pushing against the field, you're moving in harmony with it, and that's when everything begins to unlock. Lack is subtle. It doesn't always look like desperation or anxiety. In fact, it often wears the mask of ambition, self-improvement, even high vibes. But make no mistake, if your underlying energy is "I need this to feel okay," you're still rooted in lack, and that's the frequency the field is responding to. We've all been conditioned to associate wanting with progress. Society tells us, set goals, strive harder, stay hungry. But in the quantum field, that very hunger becomes the thing that keeps the manifestation out of reach. Why? Because the quantum field responds not to how hard you work or how badly you want something, but to your energetic signature, the felt state you're emitting in the present moment. And your state is either saying, "I already have it," or "it's not here yet." There is no in between. This is where people get stuck. They're not wrong for wanting more. It's natural to desire growth, love, success, and expansion. But when those desires are fueled by the belief that something's missing, the field mirrors that sense of incompleteness. Think of it like tuning a radio. You can't hear what's playing on 105.3 FM if you're stuck on 88.9. You may say all the right things, but the frequency is off. The lack frequency is often camouflaged in your thoughts, your posture, your tone of voice, even in the micro-emotions behind your affirmations. Here's the powerful truth. You don't need to try harder. You need to resonate deeper. Instead of chasing the thing you want, ask, what does the version of me who already has it feel like, move like, breathe like? That question is the gateway. Because when you shift from seeking to embodying, you exit the loop of lack and begin to emit a new coherent frequency, one that the quantum field cannot ignore, and from that state, the so-called block begins to dissolve, not because you removed it, but because it was never real to begin with. It was just a vibrational mismatch. Let's go deeper. What does it actually mean to manifest from lack? On an energetic level, it means your body and nervous system are in a state of incoherence, a scattered, inconsistent signal that tells the quantum field, I'm unsafe, I'm incomplete, I don't have what I need. And that's exactly what the field mirrors back. This isn't just spiritual philosophy, it's neurobiology and quantum physics working in real time. When you're manifesting from lack, your body enters a mild survival state. Your breath becomes shallow. Your heart rate may rise. You may feel tension, doubt, urgency. These are all signs your nervous system is out of alignment with the frequency of having. Now, here's the key. The field doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you broadcast. If you're visualizing abundance, but feeling anxious or impatient while doing it, your dominant signal is still rooted in lack. But the good news, you can shift the signal immediately, not by thinking your way out of it, but by regulating your internal state. Start with your breath. It's the fastest tool to shift your physiology and bring your system into coherence. Slow, heart-centered breathing sends a message to the body that it's safe. And when the body feels safe, it opens, it receives. It begins broadcasting a stable, grounded frequency of having. Try this. Place one hand on your heart. Inhale slowly for 5 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Repeat for 3 minutes. As you breathe, bring your awareness to the version of you who already has the thing you've been trying to manifest. Don't just imagine it. Feel it in your body. Let your posture shift. Let your chest open. Let your breath deepen. Why does this work? Because your emotional state is your frequency. And frequency is the only language the field understands. You're not trying to trick the universe. You're simply aligning with the version of you that already exists, the one who isn't blocked, because they've stopped vibrating from lack. This is how you shift from trying to manifest to naturally receiving, not because you forced it, but because you became a match for it. If the field only responds to what you are, then the most important question becomes, how do I become the version of me who already has what I desire? This is where most people hesitate. They think, but I don't have it yet. How can I act like I do without lying to myself? The answer isn't about pretending, it's about tuning. You're not faking a new reality. You're aligning with it emotionally and energetically before it physically appears. Let's make this real. Imagine you're trying to manifest love, abundance, or success. Instead of thinking about how far away it feels, tune into the version of you who already lives that life, not in your head, but in your nervous system. Ask yourself, how does that version of me feel when they wake up in the morning? What kind of posture do they carry? What thoughts naturally run through their mind? How do they breathe, speak, move, and decide? This process isn't about acting as if. It's about embodying the frequency now. When you begin to feel, think, and behave as the version of you who already has it, your field shifts instantly. And the quantum field, which is deeply intelligent and precise, begins to reorganize everything around you to reflect that signal. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. It's not about forcing yourself into high energy or perfect emotions. It's about returning again and again to the vibration of wholeness. That's the new default you're building. Remember, Most people stay in the loop of wanting because they're waiting for something outside of them to give permission to feel fulfilled. But manifestation doesn't work that way. You don't wait to feel it when it arrives. It arrives because you feel it. The block was never real. It was just a frequency mismatch. And now you're learning to shift it, not through effort, but through identity. So the next time doubt creeps in, don't ask, why isn't it here yet? Ask instead, what would the version of me who already has it do right now? And let that answer guide your next step. It's one thing to align your frequency during a quiet morning meditation. It's another to hold that frequency when life doesn't reflect it yet. This is the next level of manifestation, not collapsing when reality still looks the same, not reverting back to wanting mode just because the bank account, the relationship status, or the outer circumstances haven't shifted. This is where most people fall back into the lack loop. They start the day feeling powerful. I already have it, but by afternoon, one trigger pulls them back into old stories. Why hasn't it happened yet? Maybe I'm still blocked. Maybe this doesn't work. But here's the truth. You're not manifesting for proof. You're broadcasting as the proof. Manifestation requires energetic consistency, not perfection. And consistency means learning how to hold your frequency even when your 5 senses don't agree yet. Think of it like tuning an instrument. One off note doesn't ruin the song. But if you keep returning to the right pitch, eventually harmony sets in. The same goes for your vibration. Every moment you choose to recalibrate, to pause, breathe, and ask, is this thought aligned with the version of me who already has it? You are reattuning your signal. This is not about avoiding discomfort. It's about not letting discomfort drive your reality. The version of you who already has the thing you want doesn't panic when things look uncertain. They don't chase, they don't doubt, they choose, they trust. Because they know the field isn't responding to appearances, it's responding to their internal posture. So when reality tests you, when you get triggered or discouraged or tempted to slip back into the old self, that's not a failure. That's an invitation, a moment to return to the new frequency. This is the practice. Catch the signal of lack when it arises. Pause, recenter, breathe. Choose again. Every time you do, you're telling the quantum field, this is who I am now. And the field, in perfect coherence, will begin to reflect it back, not all at once, but undeniably. When you stop manifesting from lack and begin broadcasting from embodiment, you'll start to notice something, not always loud, not always dramatic, but unmistakably real, subtle shifts. These small signals are the first confirmations that your energy is changing and the field is responding. It often begins with a feeling, a strange sense of calm. You're not buzzing with excitement or chasing signs. Instead, there's this grounded knowing in your system. I don't need to force this anymore. Your nervous system starts to relax. You stop constantly checking for results. You stop asking when or how it will happen. Why? Because on a vibrational level, your body starts to believe it's already done. This inner calm is a sign of coherence. And coherence is what magnetizes the new timeline into your field. Next, you may start noticing synchronicities, not fireworks, but patterns. You think about someone and they text you. You speak an intention, and a related opportunity quietly appears. These are not coincidences. These are energetic echoes that your broadcast is being received. Then comes a shift in your relationship to old problems. That situation that once triggered you now feels neutral. That fear that used to dominate your thinking feels distant. It's Not because the world has changed, it's because you have. Even time starts to feel different. You're less anxious about the future, less preoccupied with the past. You become more present. And presence is the signature frequency of someone who already has, not someone who's still waiting. One of the most important signs: you stop obsessing. You don't overthink your affirmations. You're not trying to control outcomes. You're not monitoring your manifestation like a package in transit. You're simply living, choosing, trusting, because that's what the version of you who already has it would do. The field listens to clarity, not desperation. And the more you embody the calm, clear signal of already having, the more naturally reality begins to organize itself around your new identity. You're not forcing change, you're becoming the change. And that's when life starts to feel less like chasing and more like matching. Let's be clear. Manifestation is not about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you already are beneath the conditioning. That's the real shift. Most people unconsciously treat manifestation like ordering from a cosmic vending machine. If I say the right affirmations, hold the right thoughts, and do the rituals, I'll get what I asked for. But this still comes from the frequency of separation. It's rooted in the belief: I don't have it yet, so I need to make it happen. And here's the paradox. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. This is why many people feel like they're blocked. They're doing all the outer things, but on the inside, they're still vibrating with the identity of someone who is lacking, waiting, or trying to fix something. If you've been looping in this pattern, it's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because your internal identity hasn't caught up with your desired reality. You may be envisioning wealth, love, health, but if your self-concept is still tied to scarcity, unworthiness, or efforting, then your field will keep reflecting that back. So how do you shift it? You stop trying to manifest, and you start deciding who you are. You ask yourself, what would it feel like to no longer chase this thing? What if I no longer identified with the version of me who needs it? What becomes possible when I show up as someone who already has it right now? You start showing up as that version, not as a performance, but as a choice. You let that new identity lead your breath, your posture, your responses, your expectations. And over time, this isn't something you try to hold. It becomes your baseline frequency. The more rooted you are in the beingness of what you desire, the less resistance exists between you and its arrival. Reality has no choice but to bend to that level of coherence, because at that point, you're not trying to manifest anymore. You are the manifestation, embodied, grounded, and inevitable. Letting go is often misunderstood in manifestation circles. People hear it and think it means giving up, no longer caring, or abandoning the desire. But real letting go isn't passive. It's one of the most powerful energetic choices you can make. Letting go simply means releasing the attachment to how and when your desire shows up. It means trusting the intelligence of the field more than the timeline of your ego. And that shift is everything. Why? Because when you're attached, you're energetically holding the frequency of lack. You're subtly saying, I need this to happen in order to feel whole. Until it arrives, something is missing. But when you let go, you shift to, I already feel whole, and I trust that what's aligned will arrive when I'm ready. This is not indifference. It's energetic alignment. It's choosing to stay in your power without needing evidence. Letting go doesn't mean dropping the vision. It means detaching from the neediness, the chasing, the micromanaging. It's the moment you stop grasping and start allowing. That's when you create space for the manifestation to land. Think of it this way. If you're constantly digging up a seed to check whether it's growing, you're interrupting the process. But if you water it, nourish the soil, and trust the cycle, growth becomes inevitable. The same applies to your desires. You've set the intention. You've aligned your energy. You've become the version of yourself who already holds that reality. Now it's time to trust that the field is catching up. Letting go is the final release of resistance. It's saying, whether it comes today, tomorrow, or in a completely unexpected form, I'm good, I'm aligned, I'm ready. That frequency, calm, confident, coherent, is what draws everything toward you with zero force. So if you've been waiting, watching, and wondering when it will show up, take a breath, loosen your grip, walk away from the control tower, and let the universe do its part. You're not blocked, you're just being asked to receive. So here's the truth most people miss. You were never truly blocked. You were just out of alignment with the version of you that already holds what you're asking for. All manifestation begins and ends with identity, not strategy, not hustle, not even belief alone, but with your embodied sense of who you are. When you operate from the identity of someone who needs something to change, you're signaling to the quantum field, I am separate from what I want. That's why things feel stuck, because the signal you're sending beneath the affirmations, visualizations, and practices is still coded in lack. But now you see differently. The shift has already begun. Instead of chasing, you're choosing. Instead of fixing, you're feeling. Instead of asking, how do I get it? You're asking, how do I live as the version of me who already has it? That's the frequency of manifestation from wholeness, and it's magnetic. Manifesting from wholeness means you don't wait for life to look different before you feel aligned. You feel aligned first, and reality adjusts to match that. You become the source of the thing you once thought you had to earn or attract. From this place, manifestation becomes natural. Not a technique, not a trick, but a way of being. You're no longer seeking signs, you're becoming the signal. And here's the most powerful part. When you manifest from wholeness, you're no longer afraid of whether it comes or not. Because you're no longer defining your worth by outcomes. You already are the outcome. This is the liberation most people are looking for. Not just the result, but the freedom to feel empowered, joyful, and certain without conditions. So if you're ready to step into that version of you, the one who's not blocked, not stuck, not waiting, then the invitation is simple. Choose her now. Act from her, speak from her, breathe from her. The universe responds to that level of clarity, not eventually, but instantly, because manifestation doesn't start when the result shows up. It starts the moment you decide you're already whole. You've now seen the truth. The biggest block in manifestation is not something external. It's the frequency you're embodying. And when that frequency is rooted in lack, it doesn't matter how many affirmations you say or how many vision boards you make, the results will always feel delayed, distorted, or missing entirely. But once you shift your inner state, everything changes. Not because the universe suddenly decides to reward you, but because you've become energetically available for the version of reality that already matches who you've chosen to be. So how do you live this, day by day? You embody it, again and again. You make embodiment your practice, your posture, your default. That means you stop acting from fear. You don't respond to life like someone. who's still begging for proof. You stop outsourcing your power. You don't wait for signs to tell you it's working. You trust your inner resonance. You stop being a seeker and instead become a creator, one who knows their frequency is the cause, not the effect. Here's what embodiment really looks like. It's waking up and asking, what does the version of me who already has it feel like, move like, choose like? And then doing your best to live that out, moment by moment. It's not perfection, it's not performance, it's presence. Because every time you choose to align with your future self, even in the smallest ways, you collapse the timeline between you and that reality. And the more you do it, the more you'll notice. Life starts to reflect back your new signal effortlessly. The how and when start to take care of themselves. The people, opportunities, clarity, they arrive because you're finally a match for them. So no, you're not blocked. You're just being invited to step into a new level of self-leadership, to walk, speak, and choose like the version of you who no longer waits, doubts, or grasps, but simply is. And that version of you, she's not becoming, she's already here.